Hi, my name is Lorna. Welcome. Today's video is about understanding your nervous system. Why do you need to understand this? If you have anxiety, if you have depression right now or have in the past, or people around you, I need you to understand about the nervous system so you can understand what's going on, what's triggering you, and how to be well. If you're interested, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell if you can find it, and let's get this down now. So understanding the autonomic nervous system, okay? Autonomic nervous system is a must for anybody who has experience of anxiety, depression, and also anybody working with people who may be highly distressed, traumatized, counsellors, psychotherapists, people working as carers, people working who don't understand, people working with people who are distressed, even chiropodists. I'm often quite shocked that people don't have this information yet are working with distressed people and are finding themselves becoming ill, themselves picking up the same symptoms as these traumatized people that they're working with. Okay, so this is really knowledge for self-care. And I'm going to be talking here about something called dual awareness or interoception. So I'm going to be asking you to notice what you notice in your own body. Our ability to self-regulate is essential for healthy narcissism, healthy relationships. Self-regulation is such a big issue for me and what I see in the world now, where we have all dysregulated. We have been away from each other, isolated. Normally we would regulate with, I don't know, saying morning to someone, eye contact, laughing, being at work with people. When we have been locked away, we've dysregulated. Yeah, so we don't know how to sync up. That's why there's a lot of anxiety at the minute of, we don't know how we're going to go back into being with people. We are avoiding, or if we go in, we're going to be thinking, oh my God, have I said something? Do I just look like an absolute dick? Have I just said something? Because we're out of whack. We're out of sync. Yeah, we're not dancing with people anymore. It's been a long time. Our bodies find equilibrium and balance through movement, yeah, and the breath and how we regulate that. Shaking, crying, laughing, but again, I have to come back to the breath, how we breathe. When we're with calm people, we feel more calm. If we've been on our own, not feeling calm for a long period of time, it's not good. So I'm going to be talking about the autonomic nervous system. That's all you need to know, autonomic nervous system. And there's two parts of it. And they make no sense when I say the words to you, okay? So you've got the sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic. So I train, hundreds of people on this, and I'm dyslexic and I get mixed up with what they mean, because sympathetic sounds like sympathy and low. Absolute opposite. I'm going to put some visuals on the screen here so you get a flavour for what they are. So the sympathetic nervous system is high. Sympathetic nervous system is higher energy. This is your anxiety. So we've got adrenaline and cortisol being released because we've got a tiger chasing us. We've got COVID chasing us. We are scared. We've gone into fight flight. In our brain, we're not thinking from the front part of our brain where it's all sensible and in the here and now. We are firing from the center of our brain, something called the amygdala. Red alarm bell, going off, backs to the wall. We are hyper vigilant. So the sympathetic nervous system is for mobilization, but there is always a threat or fear. This is where I'll say to people, especially with anxiety, what is your fear? And there may be multiple fears. For example, it's like being chased by the Pamplona bulls. The tiger's chasing you. We feel unsafe in our own homes. COVID and the fear that the media and the governments have put in place, they've scared the shit out of us basically, right? So we are on we're hyper aroused. In our brain, that amygdala, the alarm bell, is releasing the chemicals adrenaline and cortisol. It's basically like cocaine mixed with a bit of caffeine and throw a few Red Bulls in as well. So it's mobilizing energy. And this is to get us safe. And really, and remember, and I need to hold these positively as well. These are survival responses. We would not have survived for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, yeah, if we didn't have these responses. And actually, a gentleman called Stephen Porges talks about 3 responses that we have when we are under threat. The first one is we shout for help, vocalize, right? We've got to vote, help, help, help. Hey, we do it if we get lost. You know, I'll go and say, oh, excuse me, where's this? Or if something happens, help, can you help us with this? Or right, we use our voices. If that fails, we then go to fight or flight, right? Where we are going to use that energy to go and fight the dinosaur or run like hell from the dinosaur. We're going to go and kill it, fight to survive, or we're going to run to be safe. Now, there is another response where we freeze. And I hear this in a lot of my client work. And imagine a deer that's frozen in the headlights. I saw a deer the other day actually, and I stood and stared it out because of this picture. I had to move off first. I'd have been there all day. So imagine the deer caught in the headlights. They're frozen. It's a survival response. So the bloody dinosaur walked past. In fact, that's what I did. I went off and just left it frozen in the field. The freeze response, plain dead. So I often hear this with clients is, I felt numb, deadness, frozen. Yeah, just notice yourself what that might be if you're feeling stuck in a situation. So our sympathetic nervous system is activated, high alert, red, fast, hot, survival. We're not thinking, we're in survival. The lower end of the nervous system is called the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, so this is responsible for rest, digest, feed and breed. So I do love a black pug because I have one called Hugo. So I put a black pug in here. So it's the lower energy. Now, too much of this is depression. Think about when you felt depressed yourself, that heavy energy in your body. Increased sensations, flooded emotional reactivity, hypervigilant, intrusive imagery, flashbacks, and disorganized thinking. So a lot of clients will say, I can't think, I've lost myself, I don't know what's going on, I can't make a decision. Look at what's going on, there's something, we're up here, yeah? However, when we are hypo-aroused, that lower energy, yeah, the pug, the sleep, the depression, there is little movement here, yeah? So there's a numbing of sensation, just say what's familiar to you, numbing of emotion, disabled cognitive processing. Again, we're not thinking. People will say, oh, I used to read books, I don't read books. I used to watch films, I don't watch films. I used to play video games, I don't do what I used to do. Because we're low. Yeah, it's the too low and reduced physical movement. So this is why often I'm encouraging people to move to be able to activate to the higher part of the energy. So to recap, we have the autonomic nervous system that we need to regulate with other people through laughing, through crying, through moving, through eye contact, that COVID has caused huge issues for, and I'm really concerned about it. And when that is dysregulated, we are more vulnerable to stress, depression, trauma, all of the stuff, feeling tired, low mood, stress, all of it. Okay, so awareness then of what we need to do here. So understanding that if we are high, the sympathetic nervous system is high, red, alarms, fight, flight. Yeah. And then the lower energy, the parasympathetic nervous system, is where we are not moving. We are not, it's more depressed. We're not thinking. And actually the place that we want to be is in the middle. So we would call this in therapy a window of tolerance. A window of tolerance. So the window of tolerance is being in the here and now. So here we go. If you are high, if you are anxious, if you are hyper-aroused, by the way, the whole world is hyper-aroused, up, right? We are up with anxiety and fear. We need to turn on our inner pug, sleeping pug. What do we need to do to breathe? Longer exhalation, inhale, exhale. Do you need to burn that adrenaline off? Do you need to go for a run, go for a walk, speak to people, have a dance? We need to do something to come down, to switch on the parasympathetic nervous system, that we just dip down into this window of tolerance, to get rid of this adrenaline that we've been carrying for over a year in our bodies, that's made us stiff and hard and frozen like the deer. Okay? If you are depressed, if you are around people who are depressed, if there is no movement, what do we need to do to activate the higher energy to come up into a window of tolerance? So we need to use the breath. Breathe, move, put the right fuel in, get the sleep right, all the self-care, the lower energy. Okay, so now we have a framework here. We know that the autonomic nervous system consists of the sympathetic high and the parasympathetic, which is low. Ideally, we want to get to the middle, and that's hard work because things will trigger us. We go up, we go down, and it's how we're able to move, bring our bodies in, use our breath, and notice what is going on and what in our environment has triggered us, and then what we need to do to stay well. And having this knowledge, knowing that you are not a symptom because your uncle had psychosis, or so-and-so had depression, or my mother had postnatal depression. In the here and now, what are you going to do to be well? Do you need to go for a massage? Do you need to go for a run? Do you need to just sit and chill out on the sofa? Do you need to do some gentle movements, some yoga? Bring it into awareness. Do you need to work on your sleep? Do you need to look at your food for fuel? Get smart on this. Get smart and beat it.